appreciate you guys attending the webinar today. This is the first employee-based webinar training that we've held in Madison County, and we will be hosting a few additional trainings this year for you guys. And but what I would like to get is from you guys is your input into what trainings you would like to have. And again, this is for all employees. We've been doing manager trainings now for over a year on covering manager responsibilities, but I want to reach out to all employees and see what trainings that you guys would like to have. We do have a few more scheduled for later in the year, but those are topics that we have chosen, but I really want to train on what you guys would like to hear. Somewhere on your menu bar, there is a chat button, and you can type in there whatever training topics that you would like for us to cover. If something comes to your mind that you would like for personnel to present to all employees for training, if you could just type that in and send it to us, then we will compile a list and see if we can't get that out to you. I believe that communication is critical to the success of our operation, and I don't know that we've done a good enough job in the past of communicating to all of our employees. So we're going to try to turn that around within this year and get you guys more information. Today we're going to be talking about the Family Medical Leave Act and giving you a brief overview of what your rights are under the law. It's a very, very important law. It's still a fairly new process for the county, even though the law has been in existence since 1993. What the county had been doing in regards to medical absences is we were allowing them to use their accrued leave and then placing them on family medical leave if they needed more time off. And actually, according to the law, that's backwards. So we weren't following the letter of the law in the way that we were doing it. So we have a family medical leave policy now, and I'm going to train you guys on just what you need to know because you do have rights, and it's very important that you understand what your rights are. And every employee has a right to family medical leave once they become eligible, and we certainly want all of our employees to have access to that when and if they need it. Karen Mahan in the personal office handles the family medical leave process for Madison County, and so she will be your point of contact if you need to take family medical leave or if you have questions. And speaking of questions, if at any time during the training today, if you have a question, if you need more information, on that menu bar there's a box labeled questions. Type in your question. Pam and Karen are here. They're answering questions in real time. You don't have to wait until the end. So if I'm covering something and you don't understand it and would like more information, by all means, please send that in and they will answer you back immediately. Okay, and remember, there are no dumb questions. This is your rights. Okay, these are your rights, and we want you to understand this process. So please, if there's something you don't understand, just let us know, and we'll be happy to go over that with you. Let's start with some abbreviations just so we're all on the same page, because when you're talking about FMLA and FML, it gets kind of confusing. But the Family Medical Leave Act is the actual law, and a lot of times people say, I'm taking FMLA. Well, that's the actual law, and I'm kind of a stickler, is when an employee goes out on medical leave, they're actually on family medical leave, because FMLA is the actual law that was passed. So when an employee has to go out on medical leave, they're actually taking FML. So that's what I'm going to refer to at different times today, but I just wanted you to understand the differences in FMLA and FML. And of course, PTO is paid time off. But I want to start with a little knowledge quiz. I kind of want to see where everyone is, what your knowledge is on family medical leave so far. So let's just kind of work through this. I'll ask a question, and you just think to yourself, is that question true or false? And don't worry, if you don't know the answers, that's fine. That's why we're doing this training, and we're going to cover each one of these topics today. So by the end, you'll understand why that question is true or false. The first one says family medical leave is paid leave for employees. Is that true or false? Well, that is false. Family medical leave is actually unpaid leave for the employee. It's protected leave, but it's unpaid leave. Number 2, employees are eligible for up to 12 weeks of family medical leave per year. That is true. Employees are eligible for up to 12 weeks. Number 3, only full-time employees qualify for family medical leave. This can be a little tricky. Are only full-time employees eligible for family medical leave? That is false. And we'll talk about how you qualify for family medical leave in just a few minutes. But your employment status, whether you're full-time or part-time, doesn't matter. Number 4, I can take family medical leave to care for my parents-in-law. That is false. You cannot take family medical leave to take care of your father-in-law or your mother-in-law. Number 5, an employee can continue working a second job while on family medical leave with the county. A lot of employees in the county have a second job. So if you go out on family medical leave with the county, are you allowed to continue working that second job? No, that question is false. If you're working a second job and you have to go out on family medical leave with the county, you're not allowed to work that second job because theoretically, if you're on medical leave, you wouldn't be able to work that second job anyway, right? And the last question, employers can require an employee to use accrued leave while on family medical leave. Can we require you to use your sick leave and annual leave while you're on family medical leave? That question is true. An employer can require you to use your accrued leave while you're on family medical leave. So if you didn't know all the answers to that, that's fine. We're going to talk about all this, and we want you to have the information. So we'll work through each one of these, and we'll start with what is FMLA? Well, FMLA was passed in 1993 by President Bill Clinton. It provides up to 12 weeks of unpaid job-protected leave per year for a serious health condition, and is available for an employee's spouse, their parents, their children, and that could be natural born, it can be adopted or foster care, or of course an employee can take it for themselves if they have a serious health condition. Okay, so that's what family medical leave is. It's a very important law. Okay, and we want each one of you to understand how you qualify and your rights under the law. But let's first talk about how you become eligible for family medical leave, because just because you start working with the county doesn't mean that you're immediately eligible for family medical leave, okay? So what are the initial requirements for family medical leave? Well, number 1, you must be employed for at least 12 months, but the employment need not be consecutive, and I'll explain that in a minute. Number 2, you must have worked at least 1,250 hours during that 12 months. So you have to have worked for Madison County for at least 12 months, and you must have worked 1,250 hours during that month. Now, it said that those 12 months need not be consecutive, and what that means is that there can be a break in your employment, and the Department of Labor has set a timeline, and I won't get into all that because that gets deep into the law, but there can be a break in employment. Personnel will handle eligibility for family medical leave. So if you know that you need to take family medical leave, you know you've been here 12 months, and you know you've probably worked 1,250 hours, but we will confirm all that for you, okay, when you come to request family medical leave. But I do want to point out now that time spent on paid or unpaid leave does not count as hours worked. So the time that you and I spend on annual leave or sick leave, military leave, previous family leave, and especially unpaid leave for any reason does not count toward that 1,250-hour requirement, okay? So the time that we spend on vacation or sick doesn't count toward the 1,250. But again, personnel will handle and work with you to determine eligibility. That's one of the things that Ms. Karen does. So what are the reasons for leave? Why can you take family medical leave? Well, you can take it for the birth of your son or daughter, to care for the newborn child, that's also known as bonding time, to adopt or foster care of a child, to care for your son, your daughter, or your parents who have a serious health condition, or a serious health condition for the employee. and we talked a little bit about this earlier. So it's a limited scope, okay, because as we've already said, it does not include your parents-in-law. A good example of that, my father-in-law had back surgery a few weeks ago, and if I would have had to take in time off from work to go care for him, that would not have been covered under family medical leave, okay? So just remember, parents-in-law are not covered under family medical leave. But if you have to take off because your parents have a serious health condition, your spouse, your children, or yourself, that is covered under family medical leave. Okay. All right, two things that you wouldn't think about going together. This is part of the education process here: work comp and family medical leave. Now, obviously, if an employee is seriously injured on the job, has to be out of work to recover, then obviously that employee goes on work comp. Okay, but what folks really don't know is that family medical leave can run concurrently with workers' compensation if the employee meets the eligibility requirements. They've been here 12 months, they've worked 1,250 hours. If an employee is seriously injured at work, they have to stay home to recover. They're not able to come back to work. Well, not only are they covered under work comp, they're also covered under family medical leave. Okay, so it's like a dual coverage. Okay, and it's an extra layer of protection that the government has put in for that employee. Now, we said that an employee gets 12 weeks of family medical leave per year. Well, if that employee's injury is so severe that they can't return within that 12 weeks of family medical leave and work comp, well, then obviously they will remain on work comp past the 12 weeks until they're able to return. That family medical leave is just an extra layer of protection for that employee while they are out. And we, I think we've had one here recently where we had an employee that had to have surgery, and they've been out for a while. So family medical leave ran concurrently with their work comp. So, as I said earlier, Karen administers our family medical leave program for the county. She also handles work comp, and I do that for a reason. I like to have one person in charge of protected leave programs like family medical leave and work comp, just for consistency purposes. So if an employee is off work for a medical reason, it's either family medical leave probably, or it's work comp, and it's just better to have one person over both those programs. So if you have questions about that, Karen will be the one that you'll need to talk to in personnel. All right, let's talk about notification. When you determine that you need to take family medical leave, if you go to the doctor and they say you're going to have back surgery and you're going to be out for 10 weeks, when you find that out, you need to immediately tell your supervisor or come to personnel and tell us. But if you come to personnel before you go to supervisor, just please know that we're going to notify your supervisor. Okay, we have to tell them. As a matter of fact, there's a form that they have to sign. So you can go to your supervisor or you can come to us as soon as you know that you're going to need to be out for family medical leave, either for yourself or for your spouse or for your parents or your children, as soon as you know. Okay, we just finished a manager training on this very topic. Okay, so your supervisors and managers were trained on family medical leave, so they know how to handle a request from you of family medical leave, and that is to contact personnel. Now, the law states that employees must provide at least a 30-day advance notice if possible. So the law says that if you know 30 days in advance that you're going to need to be out for that back surgery, you are required to let us know. Okay? Now, obviously, if an employee, God forbid, has a heart attack, obviously you can't provide advance notice of that. And so what we do in those situations where it's an emergency, sudden issue, is we work with the family, or we work with the doctor's office or the hospital or wherever we have to go to get the family medical leave paperwork completed. Now, let me explain a part of the law to you that you probably don't understand, and that is that Madison County has an obligation under the law to investigate and qualify an employee's absence or leave as family medical leave, even if the employee does not submit a request for family medical leave. Now, this changed in the law a few years ago. The burden used to rest with the employee, so the burden was on them to request family medical leave. If they didn't, oh well. But the Department of Labor changed this a few years ago, and they placed the burden now on the employer to determine if an employee's absence qualifies as family medical leave. So we can have a situation where an employee doesn't request family medical leave, but we know that they had that back surgery. We know they're out with back surgery. We know that qualifies as family medical leave. So by law, we are required to try to qualify that employee for family medical leave. We are held accountable for that. Now, the employee may not qualify because they may not have worked 12 months or 1,250 hours, but we have to at least show and have documentation where we at least attempted to qualify that employee for that leave. Now, sometimes employees think, well, personnel is intruding on my privacy, or they're just trying to force me to do something I don't want to do. But we have an obligation under the law now to do that. So I need everyone just to understand that even though you may not request family medical leave, if we know that you're out for a medical reason that qualifies for family medical leave, we have an obligation to get that process started and to place you on family medical leave because it is protected leave, and that's the way the government views it. So just be aware of that. Normally, the employee knows in advance, and they let us know, and we work through it that way. But just be aware that we may be calling and asking about your absence and finding out what's going on because we are obligated to under the law, okay? All right, let's talk about finances. It always comes down to finances. Everything does, right? And guys, if you've got a notepad in front of you and a pen in your hand, I want you to write down everything that I'm about to say. If you don't hear anything that I'm about to say today, I need you to hear what I say on the next two screens, okay? Because it is critical information. It doesn't just deal with family medical leave. It deals with your retirement and other things as well. So just please give me your undivided attention on these next two screens. One of the big misconceptions is that employees have is that family medical leave is paid time off. And obviously, as we've already said, family medical leave is unpaid protected leave. So if you're on family medical leave and you're not working because you're having that back surgery, how do you get paid? How do you get a paycheck? Well, Madison County requires the employee to use their accrued leave while they're on family medical leave because it keeps the employee in an active paid status, which is important for benefit reasons, okay? So if I go out with back surgery, I have to use my accrued sick leave and annual leave or any accrued leave that I have to make sure that I get paid, to make sure that my benefit deductions continue to be paid for, okay? Because employees are responsible for paying their portion of the benefit premiums, and that's why we require them to use their accrued leave and remain in a paid status. There's a rumor and some information out there that is incorrect, and let me just step on that right now, is that if an employee is in an unpaid status, they are still required to pay for their benefits. We all get paid tomorrow. On your pay stub, you can look and see all the benefit deductions that you have. If you have health insurance, if you purchase additional life insurance, if you've got the flex plan, whatever you have for you and your family, those deductions come out every other week. Well, if you're not getting a paycheck, you still have to pay for those. There was the misconception that, well, the county would just pay for it. That's not true. Every employee is responsible for paying their portion of the benefits, whether they're at work or not at work, okay? And this is why it is so important that you bank your sick leave, you save that sick leave, because what happens if you go out on family medical leave for whatever reason and you don't have accrued time? You don't have any sick leave. You don't have any annual leave. How do you get paid? Well, you don't get a paycheck, but yet you still have to come to personnel and pay for your benefits because your benefits doesn't stop just because you're not working, okay? You still have to pay for your benefits even though you're not getting a paycheck, which is why we are preaching today to please save your sick time, okay? You need to bank that sick time because you never know when you're going to need to be out of work for medical reasons. And guys, this process is so much easier if you saved your sick time. Okay? You can go out and take care of whatever medical issue that you need to, and you don't have to worry about, am I going to get paid? How is my insurance going to get paid? You know, how is this going to work? You don't have to worry about any of that. It's so much easier if you save your sick time. When an employee comes to personnel to fill out family medical leave paperwork, one of the forms that Karen gives them is a form that outlines all of their benefit deductions, all the benefit deductions that we've selected for ourselves, and then also what that costs. So if you run out of leave, we give you that so you'll know how much you have to come to personnel and pay, because you have to pay. And that's I'm telling you, that is an eye-opening experience for employees to realize that I'm not going to have enough accrued leave to cover the time that I got to be out, and I've also got to pay for my benefits too. That's a real eye-opening experience. And guys, I'm telling you, please, if you don't do anything else I ever ask you to do, please save your sick leave. I know it's nice weather, and I know it's nice to fish in the spring. I got that. But you need to show up for work every day. That's your schedule, and don't burn through your sick leave. It's what I call earn and burn, and we have so many employees in the county right now that are earning and burning. They earn 4 hours, and they burn 4 hours. It's going to catch up to you at some point. You're going to have to pay for it at some point, and literally, I mean pay for it. So let's talk about what the difference is in paid leave versus unpaid leave. And let's go back to the guy that's got to have back surgery and be out for 10 weeks. Let's just use a scenario here that he has enough accrued leave to cover one pay period. So for that one pay period, he'll be in a paid leave active status. And he will continue to receive a bi-weekly paycheck as usual. His health insurance premiums will continue to be deducted as usual. He will continue to accrue paid time off. And if a holiday falls on the time that we're out on family medical leave, we actually get holiday pay as long as we're in a paid active status. So if we have an employee that's on family medical leave on Memorial Day and they're in a paid active status because they've been a good steward of their sick leave, we actually pay them holiday pay on Memorial Day. Okay? Big difference. Big difference, guys. Now let's go down to the bottom, unpaid leave. Same person, except he only had one pay period's worth of accrued leave. So what happens the rest of the time that he's out? He will not receive a biweekly paycheck. He has to come to personnel to pay for his share of the health insurance premiums plus all the other benefit options that he selected. He does not accrue time off while he's on unpaid leave. And if he's off on Memorial Day, you do not get holiday pay. And let me make sure everyone understands that. If you're on family medical leave on a holiday and you're on unpaid leave, you do not get holiday pay. There is a penalty for being on unpaid leave. And that's it. Okay? So there is a tremendous difference in the top and the bottom there. But it's that last sentence there in blue on your screen that I want everyone to understand, and please write this down, okay? Unpaid leave does not count toward service credit with the retirement systems of Alabama. If you're on unpaid leave, RSA does not count that towards your retirement. I can't tell you how many employees come into this office all excited because they're getting ready to retire and they want to start that process in a few months, and they're all happy and we're happy for them. But they leave with a lump in their throat and upset because they suddenly realize they've spent so much time on unpaid leave that they've got to work another 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months just to be eligible to retire, because RSA does not count unpaid leave. Just because you're an employee here for 25 years doesn't mean you have 25 years of service. And I need everyone listening to me right now to understand that, because it happens all the time, because people have abused their sick leave. We see this all the time, and and they end up getting mad at us about it, and I don't know how to help them because they've worked here so long, but yet they don't even have enough time to retire, and it's hard to get them to understand that. So that's another reason why we're getting information out now, okay, so that everyone understands what the rules are, okay? And I want to say this, and I'm pointing at myself when I say this, okay? It is Jeremy's responsibility to take care of Jeremy. It's Jeremy's responsibility to make sure that I have 80 hours on my paycheck. It's Jeremy's responsibility to make sure that I have enough sick leave banked up so that if I have to take time off because I'm out sick or my wife is, or I have to go take care of my parents, it's my job to make sure that I have that time available so that if I have to be off, that I have enough time to make sure that I get paid and I stay in active pay status. There has been that perception there that, well, the county will take care of us. We had an employee last year that had to go out with surgery. It was emergency surgery. Worked here over 10 years. Did not have any sick leave whatsoever. I don't know how that happened, but he didn't. Very unfortunate. Called this office and was upset with us because he didn't have 80 hours on his paycheck. That's not personnel's fault. You worked here over 10 years. You should have plenty of time to take care of us being out for surgery. Okay? So again, I go back to pointing at myself. It's Jeremy's responsibility to take care of Jeremy, not Madison County. Okay? So just trying to change that mentality there and get that out, because there's been that perception there. So if you have any questions about how paid leave works, I mean, how you get paid while you're on family medical leave, just let us know. Karen does a great job of walking through the process with our employees, going through the paperwork. But I'm telling you, it's a very easy process. It is. It's actually not that difficult. Where it becomes difficult is when you don't have enough accrued leave to take care of your time off. All right, last thing I want to talk about is the requirements for returning to work. Okay, so you come back from that back surgery now, and you've recovered, and you're ready to return to work. What do you have to do? Well, it's actually very, very simple. All you have to do is submit a fitness for duty, a medical release form to us signed by your physician saying that you're eligible to come back to work. That's it. But I want to explain one other thing. Sometimes an employee is not released to full duty. They come back and they're released to light duty. In other words, it's kind of a modified schedule. The employee can't lift as much, can't push as much, can't climb a ladder or drive or something like that. So they come back with restrictions and light duty. Well, I want everyone to understand that that is a request for light duty. That is not 100% guaranteed. I want everybody to understand that every department is not going to be able to honor every light duty request. Okay? It just really depends on what the restrictions are and what that department has. Okay? So don't think that just because you're released to light duty that you're going to be able to come right back to work into a light duty position, because that may not be the case. Okay? We will try to work with the departments to see if there's something that we can do, but usually light duty means a desk job or a very, very light type of work. And in Madison County, we have a lot of that. Okay? There are only so much work. So I just want everyone to understand that. But if that should be the case, that you have to come back with light duty restrictions, then we'll certainly work with you and the department to see what we can do and help you as much as we can. Guys, the personnel department is here to help you. If you have questions, if you have problems, something you don't understand, that's why we're here, to kind of help you through this. But guys, you're going to have to help us help you. There's only so much we can do. Okay? Last thing we're going to do is a little summary here. I'm not going to go through all this because we've already talked about most of these things. So we will stay online a little bit longer if you do have questions. As I said, this was not to make you an expert in family medical leave. This was just to give you an outline so that you understand the program and you understand your rights under the program, because we want every employee to be able to take advantage of every benefit that they have. Family medical leave is a benefit here for you. and we want you to have the information, okay? And again, if you have other training topics that you would like for us to provide to you, please send those to us. You can send it in chat right now. You can email it to me or to the personnel department, and we'll certainly do our best to get those lined up for you, because we're going to be doing more of these. It's important that we communicate with you and that we give you the information that you need, because when we don't communicate, that's how this bad information gets out and people get confused. So we want to do our best to kind of squash that. So again, thanks for attending today. If you have any questions or anything, we'll stay online a little bit longer, okay? Thank you.